You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hi there, Days of Our Lives fans. Well, it looks like the apple didn't fall far from the unhinged tree with Rachel Black, her mom, Kristen DiMera, and her grandma, Rachel Blake, because this week and into next week, it looks like her granny is back on the soap doing bad deeds with her namesake grandchild. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and let's talk about the woman in white and what she and Rachel do to Ava Vitali. And if you're not following us, please click that subscribe button. So right now, Rachel Black has taken off to punish and manipulate her parents, Kristen and Brady Black. She sent those threatening texts to Ava Vitali to try and get her away from her dad. And when it all came out and Kristen insisted to Ava and to Brady she didn't send the text, then of course Kristen was stunned to learn it was her daughter, Rachel, doing it. And Brady was shocked too. He insisted on therapy for the kid to straighten out their defiant and diabolical daughter before it's too late. And I mean, Kristen is straight up wicked, wanton, and will do anything to get her way. She's not exactly setting a good example for young Rachel. And while Brady might not be quite as lawless as Kristen, he's no angel. He's got addiction genes and he's made a ton of mistakes. Rachel Black definitely did not win the genetic lottery when it comes to sanity and good behavior, but she did in the looks department because she's cute and her parents are both hot. So the problem is she's terrifying, absolutely terrifying. So after playing along and telling mom Kristen she'd go to therapy, of course, we saw Rachel pack a bag and went somewhere else entirely. And at the end of this week, we find out Brady's daughter made a little journey to get somewhere else, out of Salem, but where? I believe she is in, and I hope I'm saying this right, Amarid. It's DiMera spelled backwards, you know, because that's how towns are, like Meliswin, right? And Amarid is a little town not far from Salem. That's where the lady in white haunts the town and lives in Blake House. Recognize that last name? Before Stefano adopted Kristen, her name was Kristen Blake. She has a brother, Peter Blake, and a mom named Rachel Blake. That is who little Rachel is named for. So this week, we have Rosalyn Gentle taking on the role of the lady in white. And to me, it looks like she is playing Rachel Blake and not just a random haunty, ghostly, weird woman. Way back in the day, mid-90s, I think, Stefano DiMera was fixated on Rachel Blake and even killed her husband to get him out of the way. But when she was scarred and wound up not as beautiful, then Stefano lost interest, which is terribly cruel, and he started chasing Marlena. There's a lot of history there. I can't go into all of it right here, but just a couple of high points. And the whole thing left Rachel Sr. pretty crazy. And at one point, when her son Peter Blake was engaged to Jennifer Horton and brought her home to Blake House, his mom tried to kill Jen a few times. Once was smoke inhalation. Another time, I think, was strangulation. And one time, I think Jen fell into this big hole. But Rachel Sr. later did play nicer with Jen. And at one point, Marlena tried to get Rachel Sr. some help psychologically and with her scarring. And then she was presumed dead at one point, like so many people in Salem. You know, death is not a permanent condition. Bottom line, the man once obsessed with Rachel Sr., Stefano DiMera, adopted her daughter, who is now a DiMera too, but Kristen never forgot her mother, of course. And it looks like Rachel Jr. ran off to the family home, Blake House, to take refuge. I'm not sure if she expected to see her grandma there, you know, or if she was just trying to get away, you know, but it definitely looks like that's what we're getting. And the good news for Rachel Jr. is that Rachel Sr. knows a thing or two about revenge and doesn't mind getting her hands dirty. This week, late in the week, and next week, the two Rachels spend time talking, and she's going to find out more about why her granddaughter ran away from Kristen. And I'm sure Grandma's going to hear all about Rachel Jr.'s dad, Brady, dating awful Ava instead of getting back with her mom. And Rachel Sr. may be on board with a plan to do bad things to Ava if it means her daughter Kristen and granddaughter Rachel Jr. get to reunite their family. So we're going to have the older Rachel sitting with her granddaughter as she makes a call. And I wonder if it's Ava that little Rachel dials, because soon she gets the chance to get rid of her dad's gal pal once and for all. And of course, if Ava gets a call from little Rachel asking her to pick her up, yeah, she'll get in the car and go do it. And we have a photo of what looks like Big and little Rachel working together to assault Ava. The two Rachels, presuming they're both Rachels, have a candlestick in their hands with murdery looks on their faces, and it looks like Ava is injured. Her head's back, her eyes are closed, and I just wonder if Big Rachel helped little Rachel crack Ava in her noggin. It might be just like a game of Clue, dining room with a candlestick. So I doubt Brady's girlfriend is going to die, but it might get pretty dicey for Ava for a minute. And I wonder how they'll be found. If you remember, Kristen snatched away daughter Rachel's cell phone, so she has to use a landline at what appears to be Blake House to make the call to get Ava there. That means they can't track little Rachel's phone. But maybe Brady can find Ava's phone. He could get Steve to help track it, or maybe Ava dropped a pen. Whatever it is, I think that Rachel Jr.'s little plot is likely gonna backfire, and Brady winds up closer than ever to Ava Vitali when all is said and done. And it's no wonder Rachel Black thinks Ava is the root of all their family problems, because Kristen thinks that too. We heard that this week. Despite her paying lip service to, I know. No, she cannot acknowledge that the reason Brady doesn't want to be with her is that Kristen is crazier than a bag of cats on a roller coaster. And she tricked Brady into getting her pregnant. Now that's a story little Rachel needs to hear one day. Oh, by the way, the reason your dad was doing the deed with me and got me pregnant with you was because I was wearing a mask to look like his ex. Otherwise, he wouldn't have impregnated me with a 10-foot pole. So maybe at that point, little Rachel would see that the real problem in this whole equation is with her lunatic mother, Kristen, and not with her dad, Brady. But for right now, Ava is the one with the real problem, because this reunion of Rachel's, if that is who Rosalyn Gentle is playing, Rachel Blake, it could prove fatal for Ava, or at least at a minimum, really, really, really painful. This woman in white thing is kind of interesting. This is still material, by the way, that Ron Carlivati wrote. And that's why I feel like this is probably Rachel Blake, because if he likes a plot, he thinks, why not do it 2 times, 3 times, 12 times. It's fine. Let's just keep doing it. We are not getting the material from the new writers until April. So we got a few more months of Ron Carlivati material. So look for the 2 Rachels this coming week.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.